You're listening to the Night Demon Network. Go to nightdemon.net/subscriber to unlock more exclusive content.
Hello and welcome to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. I'm your host Nesbit, and today we finish off our dive into Night Demon's second single of 2020. This is Kill the Pain. So after years of evolution, this song finally took its final form, and Night Demon hooked up with legendary producer Flemming Rasmussen at Sweet Silence Studios in Copenhagen. And the result was, in my opinion, a new high watermark for the band, and it breaks new ground, but it also captures everything that Night Demon is all about. So here's the members of Night Demon: Armand, Jarvis, and Dusty.
I think this song is kind of like the future for us. It's a look into the future of like sort of a type of song that, I don't know, man. It's a departure in some ways. And, lyrically, it's definitely a departure, dealing with some heavier subjects. And musically, it's just another kind of one of those odes to our favorite bands from the past and all that. So, yeah, as far as the guitar effects and the tones, pretty straightforward, man. I had my backline that I have in Europe, which is a JCM 800 and a Marshall JCM 800, a PV 5150 split, blended together. I did half the tracks with a ESP Explorer and my Jailbreak custom guitar. Yeah, the guitar harmonies, again, that's just something that I always will love and always want to try to throw those in there. And it breaks up the riff a little bit, instead of just repeating the riff the 4 times or whatever. It's exactly the same. You put that little spin on it and gives it a little cool flavor. So, yeah, that's something you're going to hear a lot more of on the new record, too. The guitar solo in this one is like, it's like 2 parts. It's like a traditional kind of solo in the first half, and then the second half is more of like a lead, like sing-along part. that little melody lead had been around pretty early on when we were working on that song. As you'll hear in the different demos, I always looked at it as like a really cool. I originally thought that was going to be a bigger part of the song. I could hear like, a huge South American crowd fucking singing along to that thing, like, they do over there in like Maiden shows and all that. It was very kind of a Maiden, like, melodic, catchy lick there. And I'm glad we left it in the song, and I think it works really well. So yeah, really stoked on that solo. Happy about that.
The bass line was something that I was actually really proud of. I'm really proud of the bass on all these new singles, but this one was pretty cool. Just from the intro, when Armand does those couple bends, I do these octave walk-ups. And it's like something, it's very kind of Geezer Butler-ish, maybe a little Steve Harris-y, but, I never really did any octave walk-ups like that. So it was just kind of something like, wow, here's a cliche thing that I haven't done yet in this band. So we're still finding things to do. But, pretty much on the verses, me and Armand are kind of, locked in together there. He's playing more minor harmonized chords, and I'm obviously just playing the root notes on the bass. And then on the chorus, I'm just blasting away machine gun style, and I'm keeping the tempo with the snare drum blast beat. The bridge or the solo section is actually really cool. I did, again, while trying to hold the root and hold a melody behind it, because it's a whole new riff and there is no rhythm guitar on there. So Armand's just soloing over it the whole time. So I do have to I have to keep the foundation there pretty strong, but there's a lot of cool little bass fills that I did in there in between that I think are really cool. And so, even though the song, I guess, is pretty straightforward on bass, it definitely has technical prowess to it in the way that rhythmically it really, really does lock in with those drums. And this is what it ended up being one of the tightest songs that Night Demon's done.
And I'm really proud of this track. My drums, I think you can tell that there's a progression there from Curse of the Damned, Darkness Remains, and then Kill the Pain. You can hear the elements that I've always done, but then there's things on there that are firsts. Some of the flam fills, the triplet stuff, working out the fills in the verse. doing the triplet blast beat in the chorus, the tom work after that. The solo is really cool because there's this, like, right when you go into the break where it kind of, you have that quick momentarily, ba, ganda, 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 right? I'm coming in on the downbeat on the snare and playing this kind of difficult ride pattern. Then I fill and then change the beat to an idea that we were working on quite a bit, the doon, doon, ga doon, doon, ga doon, doon, where I change the whole feel of the snare, then do a fill, then go back to the straight feel. There's a lot of changing that the drums are doing, where when you listen to it from start to finish, it all makes total sense. But working those parts out and just the mind fuck that goes into it, like, how do I remember these parts and what part is there and how does that beat go? And oh my God, it was grueling. And then working out the ideas in the solo section so that I'm doing the fills with the bass, and everything had to be locked in. So, and the amount of times that we changed the structure, and okay, now instead of going this many times, we're going to go this many times. And it was a constant just revision process, and it was grueling. It's like kind of making me lose my breath just talking about it. I'm getting all like, ah. I know there was a couple, it's cool too when Fleming would get into it and he's like, yeah, this is my favorite part. He really liked the part when the toms come in. I guess it would be right after that snare drum build. And then it goes into the big toms, and they all go, and he said that was his favorite part right before we go into the cadence, right after that. So that little, like the crazy tom fills and stuff he really liked, that really kind of chuggy, heavy part. So it's cool, when somebody doesn't really know what's going on with your band, and, then you can kind of get them on board when they really get into the song and soak it in. So I don't think there's another song. I mean, I've had some frustrating moments since then, writing new songs, but man, this one tested every bit of patience that I had. And it was a difficult one. It's a difficult one, but I hope that, anybody that listens to this podcast and gets that kind of behind the scenes look at what it took to make this song, I hope that it kind of makes them appreciate it a little bit more. And if not, then whatever. But I know it was, for us, it was insane. So as far as my kit went, I had 2 crashes, a ride, and hi-hats. I had my double kick, my 2 bass drums, my single rack tom, and my 2 floors. And we ended up using the Ludwig super sensitive superphonic snare drum. I think it was like a 14 by 6.5 or 14 by 6 with a Remo Ambassador single ply head on the top to really make it pop. And in Fleming's recording, the snare is kind of buried, but it's kind of cool. I know we ended up getting a really good sound out of that Ludwig. I was almost going to use my 101 snare that I had made from Sweden. It was very similar sounding, but not exactly what we were going for. So I ended up using the Ludwig snare, and then the rest of the kit were drums that I made. So it was cool that like my drums were able to make the cut, you know, which I'm always confident that those things are going to sound great, just because I know everything about them.
As I said, we did all the vocals here at the captain's quarters. The harmonies, yeah, they just called for it, you know. I was like, Jarvis, let's go big on this one. You know, we did, and it's one of those really cool things.
No warning, still craving to kill the pain. Oh, you're going insane now.
Another one of those things that I think helps us to stand out from like the more traditional heavy metal bands of the past, you know, doing vocal harmonies like that. You know, a lot of those bands weren't really doing that, thrashier bands or whatever in the earlier kind of days. And even to this day, you know, I don't think there's a lot of bands that don't really use melodic vocals anymore.
No warning, still craving to kill the pain. You're going insane. No warning, still craving to kill the pain. Your life's not in vain.
Whenever there's a place for that, I think we're always going to kind of throw that in there because it you know, it gives us a leg above, I think, musically at least.
Hey guys, Nesbitt here. If you'd like to support Night Demon and this podcast, the best way to do it is to become a Night Demon subscriber. Not only will you be doing your part to support a true heavy metal band out there really living it, you'll also gain access to a ton of extras. Bonus audio content, a subscriber-only merch store with rare items from the band's archives. You can stream never-before-heard demos and unearth live concerts from the live vaults. Communicate with the other Night Demon diehards on an exclusive subscriber forum, and gain early access to all press releases, album pre-orders, new merchandise, and a ton more. And another thing that I think is pretty cool is Night Demon will be donating 10% of every subscription fee to the Metal Cares Foundation, which is a charitable fund the band started in 2014 to aid those in our metal community. So head over to nightdemon.net/subscriber and join us as we make heavy metal history together as one. And on a side note, I'll personally think you're a grade A badass.
Cover art is pretty cool. Again, done by the ever so talented Brian Crabaugh. Great working with him again. Yeah, I think that one took a little while to kind of figure out, you know, where to go with it because of the, you know, the lyrical content.
The cover art for Kill the Pain was done by our resident artist, Brian Crabaugh. He's done countless Night Demon designs. I can't even start to name them, but if you know our artwork, you know his work. His name has become synonymous with the band. I think the Kill the Pain cover was one of my favorite pieces of art for the single. And, you know, with this, I sent him the lyrics, you know, and just said, hey, you know, and he was like, wow, man, this is pretty heavy shit. And I was like, just come up with the concept, you know, what you think. It's like, we trust you on this. You know, I've always mentioned that I like to give artists some direction. It really helps. And it helps them because, you know, a lot of artists, if you give them no direction, they put their time and energy and their heart and soul into a piece. I mean, it's still art at the end of the day, even though it's a job for them. And if it's not what you like, it's a bit deflating for them, you know? And if you just say, hey, yeah, I don't like it, start again. And they're like, hey, you gave me no direction. But on this project, I really trusted Brian's vision, and he came up with an amazing piece of art with a skeleton hand holding this curvy dagger that had the Night Demon sigil on it, piercing this bleeding heart. And that really does go with the lyrical theme of the song, Kill the Pain, you know, the knife through the heart. And I couldn't have asked for anything better. And again, it's probably my favorite piece of art from the singles collection.
The cover art for the single, I think, is just amazing. You know, what a cool idea to have the heart and the kind of like wavy dagger just going right through the center of it with the Night Demon sigil at the handle, and like awesome album artwork. There's also, you know, the way that it's hand drawn gives it that classic look. Awesome artwork. And I think one of our friends, Marcus from Germany, he just got that album art tattooed on him. So it goes to show you how important the artwork is and how important it is to us as a band to, really put the time and effort into having great artwork, because it means so much to the fans. It means a lot to us to do it right. You know, the album artwork on the back of the live shot of us, that was from the Sacred Reich tour. And we had started that tour right after we had finished recording Kill the Pain.
The back cover photo on the 7-inch is also great. It's like a moment of where me and Armand have our fists in the air, which is, you know, it's hard to capture that stuff. It's not like we're just fist pumping the whole show. We're running around and playing the fucking guitar.
To me, that back photo just screams triumph. Now that I see, yeah, you know what? That was somewhere on the Sacred Reich tour. But yeah, I can tell by the way the backline is set up.
You know, we were on a roll. We were guns a-blazing. It was the winter of 2019, and right before COVID, we were on a roll.
One of our German photographers, Sebastian Wilke, took that photo. I believe that was on the Sacred Reich tour of 2019. And again, it was just another one that he was there in that moment, and we grabbed it for the back of the back cover of this, and it's fucking awesome.
My name is Sebastian Wilke. I live in Berlin, Germany. Was born and raised in the so-called green heart of Germany in the beautiful Thuringia. But I moved to Berlin almost 15 years ago to live and work here. And professionally, I work as a photographer and a video producer, but mostly as a photographer. I saw Night Demon live on stage. It was in April 2014 at the Keep It True Festival in southern Germany, and I was blown away immediately when I saw them on stage and I listened to the songs, and I saw and felt the power and the energy. I immediately thought, these are the guys. And after the gig, I went to the merch booth and talked to them, and I got my first autographs and the first picture. I decided wherever and whenever I can see these guys again, I would go there, even if it's far away. I would travel to see this band because, yeah, let's say I fell in love at this moment at the Keep It True 2014. For me, it is a big honor to be at least a very little part of Night Demon history, because I shot two of the back cover photos for two 7-inch singles. First of them was Kill the Pain, and the second is Are You Out There? I shot both of the pictures on tour in November. It was November the 21st. In 2019, it was the European tour, and I shot these two pictures in Barcelona in Spain. And I was traveling from one to another city to see and to photograph Night Demon on this European tour. We were together in Milano, in Italy, or in Scotland, in England, and in Germany, of course, and also in Spain, in the beautiful city of Barcelona. And I can remember when I entered the venue. It was a beautiful place, indeed, and I thought, there's a lot of different pictures will be possible tonight. So, for example, in front of stage, on stage, behind the stage, it was a good place for shooting pictures. And the Kill the Pain back cover photo, I think it captures the interaction of the band with the fans, with the audience. I'm honored and I'm glad and I'm happy that I was able to shoot this picture. I'm happy that I was able to follow the guys, and I was backstage and I met them before and after the gigs, and we had some fun together, and we had some drinks and good talks, and it was a fantastic experience in November of 2019.
All of this cover art is, by the way, available to view in the bonus section on nightdemon.net, along with early rough sketches of the cover art and a time-lapse video of the painting of this cover, which is pretty cool. The art also was released as a t-shirt with the heart and the dagger that was available in Night Demon's merch store, and is still available if you want to check it out. It's pretty cool. So with the release of these physical singles comes the release on digital streaming services, and this song was no exception.
This is Jarvis from Night Demon. You're listening to New Metal Now on Pandora. This is our new single, Kill the Pain.
So released on the same day as the vinyl 7-inch to all the streaming platforms, and also released on that day on YouTube a lyric video for this song.
For the lyric video for the song, I worked closely with Guillermo on this, and he did a couple versions that I wasn't too hot on. But there's a lot of symbolism here with the kind of treasure chest thing, and the steel mask and the sword that he has in here. It's a realistic sword that, although it doesn't look like the curvy dagger on the cover of the single, it represents it. So, I mean, and the symbolism is, you have this chest, you have your inner feelings in there, and then we go out and in society and we kind of wear a mask, and we keep those feelings tucked away in that. It's not even a treasure chest. I mean, it's just a fucking box that we keep our feelings in, and we go out and we wear this mask. And when we do that, we get to these feelings of depression, and the song deals with suicide, so the end of it is with a knife and a sword, and I think that the physical realism that's depicted in here goes really good with tying in the illustration of the cover too. So he did a really, really good job on this one.
Lyric video, yeah, just a cool way to get some video shit out on YouTube, and just to get, another avenue of, pointing out to the song. And I think the lyrics for this song, again, like, are really important that people know the lyrics, because, it could influence somebody to, go another route, and hopefully, or rethink if they're having certain feelings, of depression and all that. Those lyrics can kind of help, get you out of that. So I think it's really important to have this song, have the lyric video for this song. It's a cool idea. Like, the videos are, for us, if we can't make a full-on fucking production video and all that, we're just gonna do these kind of things because, we've done the performance videos enough times. I know we ended up doing one for Visteria, but it was a kind of a cool mix of the lyric thing and live performance. So happy the way that came out, and just showcasing the artwork again, and like cool little movements and all that.
As a side note, there's actually multiple versions of the lyric video. One version that features the album art, The Heart and the Dagger, and one without. So there's multiple versions of this video. And again, they're all available in the subscriber section at nightdemon.net if you want to check those out.
Funny story with the lyric video. There's this guy, I forget what his name is now, but I don't know. If I can find the clip, I'll send it to you. He finds out about Night Demon and he sings along to the lyric video because he's like in his room singing into the remote control. And I showed it to Jarvis and then we would play the song and he's like, dude, I can't get this guy out of my head now. Every time I sing this song, I think of this freaking guy. But I think the lyric video in general is really awesome. You know, it suits the song. It gets the idea across. It's something that the fans can read the lyrics as they're watching it. And lyric videos are cool. You know, you don't have a huge budget these days to do a video for every song, nor do you have the time or resources. So the fact that lyric videos are possible and easy to do, it makes sense. And it worked for this song. And I like the way that it transitions and, you know, it's not the same thing the whole time. So it keeps it fresh and interesting as you're watching it.
So 4 days later on May 4th, a behind the song documentary video drops May 4th, 2020. It's a pretty cool look into the song, and if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's definitely worth checking out. Very similar to the Empire's Fall video that they created when that single was released. So what resulted from all of this was Night Demon's most successful single from their 2020 releases.
Yeah, so second single that dropped, sold out again in a day. It was just like, man, okay. I guess we're onto something here with this idea. So really stoked and a good sense of accomplishment there with that.
The fact that we ended up putting these singles out the way that we did on 7-inch with multiple colors and really putting the record label on an island, you know, and making them kind of like work with our idea. And they were really nice enough to kind of take the ball and roll with it. I think they were surprised at how well these sold, and we were too. You know, no pre-sale, just put that out there. But we know how dedicated our fans are. We know how much they want these limited runs of stuff that we do, especially because it was new music. You know, it's the second original song that we had put out since, you know, Darkness Remains. So there was a lot of buildup from not putting out music in a long time. So the fact that we were able to sell these singles out in one day, you know, speaks volumes about the dedication from our fan base and speaks volumes on Jarvis knowing that, you know, the plan that he came up with is gonna, at the end of the day, be exactly what he set out to do with the plan. So really great results, and I think the fans really enjoy that track.
Of all the singles we released in 2020, Kill the Pain performed the best on digital streaming platforms, almost double the plays to date of what the other ones got. For some reason, I don't know if we made it on certain playlists or what, but we ended up doing another marketing push on our end and just tried to push this song more to the forefront of any of the other ones and kind of gain some momentum there. I don't really care about stats. It doesn't fucking matter to me at all, but it's good to have your plays ring up on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like this. So we made a conscious effort to kind of put a little bit more advertising money from the band's end into this single once we saw it perform so well. And, you know, another thing that we did, it's called a waterfall release, is every time we released a single on Spotify, it would roll into its own EP. So if you heard the new single, it would automatically play the previous one, and it kind of built up like that from month to month as we were releasing these singles. So at the end of the day, you have an EP basically called In Trance that's on Spotify that has, all 5 A-sides. So that was a kind of record company strategy that I thought worked really well. But again, I could give a shit about stats. I really don't care. And that doesn't turn into big things financially for us either. So, there's really no incentive there. But it's nice to know who's listening and how many people are really listening to your stuff out there.
Yeah, as far as the best performance, the streaming thing, getting the most hits. I don't know what the deal is with that. It's one of those songs, man. It's got a crushing riff, starts out kicking your ass. And I don't know if that just like grabbed people's attention quicker than, the other songs. But yeah, I really don't know what the deal is with that, but I ain't complaining. I think it's definitely top 2 of the singles right there. It's probably my favorite track. I'll say that now, but yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. I love all of our songs. They're all my favorites.
So it was painstaking as far as that whole amount of time and trying to get this song right. It definitely was one of the toughest songs I ever worked on in an original band. And it's funny that you look at like our Spotify and stuff, it's got the most plays and it makes it's pretty cool, that you put that much time and effort into it, and then eventually it does pay off. I think all the hard work pays off when you get positive feedback, and I definitely think that this song is a positive feedback song. Nobody's had anything bad to say about it. There's that one fan reaction. I don't even know if he's a fan. He was just finding out about our band, but there's a YouTube video where this guy listens to Kill the Pain for the first time and how much he enjoys it, and watching him with all the things that he liked about it. It was really cool because there's a lot of the things that a guy like that, if we didn't write the song and go through all the changes, he probably would have thought it was dog shit. Not that I care about anybody's opinion all the way, because ultimately it's what we like, but the fans and friends matter in their opinions as well, and to see somebody's first reaction to the song and the things that they like, especially with the ideas that came about later through all of the trials and tribulations and just blood and sweat and frustration and drumsticks breaking and being thrown into all kinds of stuff, really makes it know that the hard work pays off in the long run. As far as this song being played live, I think it's a great song to play live. Those choruses with that triplet blast beat are pretty difficult to play live. I gotta watch out how fast I'm playing the song, because trying to play those beats that fast kind of are a little difficult at times. But it's a great song to play live. I really enjoy it. I think the fans dig it. There's a lot of cool parts that are impressive, and just the whole vibe of the song. Anytime we write a song, we want to be able to play it live. Obviously now, with the amount of songs that we have, it's going to be difficult to play every song live. It just isn't possible, but we're trying our best to write songs that we can play live, and this is one of them. And I think that this is going to be in our set for quite a while. Once we do get out there and play, I'm sure we're going to be playing Kill the Pain every night. But we'll see. I'm not the singer, and I don't, Jarvis's voice is one thing, so we might not. But so far, since we've been playing, the 2 shows that we played this year or last year, definitely played Kill the Pain and had a good response. And I think as far as band members, we enjoy playing that song. So I hope that it'll stay in the set for a while.
And then, when we finally got to play it live, man, it's definitely a live banger. So look forward. Everybody get ready for hearing this one live. It's going to be really good.
So Asheville, North Carolina, November 6th, 2021, the Steel and Stone Festival, Night Demon debuts Kill the Pain live for the first time. So here it is in its entirety. There's no audience recording. This is straight from the soundboard. Kill the Pain live.
playing the song live, well, we've only got to play it twice so far, at our comeback show in North Carolina and at the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest in December. So really the only two shows that we've played since the pandemic and since this song has come out. And, you know, I think that even at the Decibel show, we had a 30-minute set, and the only new track that we played from the singles was this song. And it kind of gives me the feeling that this is one of the songs that's always going to be in the set. It's just one of those really, really strong tracks, and it kind of has a lot of cool elements into it. I could see Empire's Fall kind of being like that too, especially since it's a shorter song. But again, this isn't a long song at all, but I think the message is really important, and it is really a powerhouse live, just from the way that we bookended this song with the intro and the outro the same, that da-da-da-da-da-da, like, it's just, it lends itself to an awesome song. And then when it kicks into the verse and it goes into that groove, that kind of laid back but hard-hitting groove, I think it's a really good kind of a mid-tempo. It's still a headbanger, and it's a really great song live. And, when we write songs like this, we're always thinking about playing them live as we're writing them. So that's definitely where it belongs. And the song has been received well the couple times we played it, and we're looking forward to doing it much, much more. My overall thoughts on Kill the Pain, it was a tough thing to write about. And, I try not to get too personal with my lyrics, but I've heard from a lot of people about how it positively affected them. So that was a job well done on our part, as far as, just letting everybody know that having these thoughts is common, and it's not shameful. And, through the power of art and music, I'm glad that we were allowed to be a relatable band to a lot of people out there, especially in our scene where it's a kind of a stigma to be less than tough sometimes, I would say. And, overall, the song musically, it's just, I love it. It's one of my favorite Night Demon songs. And I'm really proud of it in the end. And, I'm just, to see where the journey started with a riff that I had, 5 years prior, and just all the work that we put into making this a great and classic song. I'm very proud of it.
Anytime you do something that's going to stick around longer than you're going to be alive on this planet, you want it to be done right. And this song is a prime example of that. We worked our tails off to get it right, and no regrets as far as that goes, just because of how much work and time that went into it. Now I have something that I can listen to, and just, that's the song, and that's the way it's going to be played live. So really, really proud of Kill the Pain and the work that we put into it, and how well it came out, and the experience with Fleming, and the experience with the band trying to get that made, and the fun that we had in Hamburg on the, hanging out on the Reaper Bond, just getting plastered and having the time of our lives. And really, really grueling experience, but well worth it. I wouldn't change it for anything, that's for sure.
Well, that's it for Kill the Pain, Night Demon's second 2020 single, which is actually about to be released on their 2022 compilation, Year of the Demon, which you can pre-order now. Details on nightdemon.net. And while you're there, subscribers can check out the bonus content for this song. We have early versions of the cover art, alternate lyric videos, a huge photo gallery from Copenhagen, and recording this track with Fleming Rasmussen. Every demo that you heard samples of in these episodes in full, from the riff tape through all the different versions as it evolved, up to Fleming Rasmussen's mix and the 5 other test mixes of this song. So everything you could ever want to know about this song and its creation. Until next time, this is Nesbitt signing off.
Continue the fight. Reach for the light. The path you must go into the grave.
Thanks for listening to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. Head over to nightdemon.net, click click on the subscriber tab and sign up to access exclusive weekly bonus content. If you would like to donate to support the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, you can do so through PayPal at paypal.me/nightdemonmetal. Additionally, if you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All hail, Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. This is Dusty Squires chiming in to tell you about my brand new signature sticks from the London Drumstick Company. I've dreamt of having my very own drumsticks ever since I was a wee lad, and LDC made that a possibility for me. Founded in 2016 in London, England, the birthplace of heavy metal, the London Drumstick Company has trailblazed a path through the music industry and taken the drummer world by storm. When I met them for the first time, they knew their product was going to withstand the beatings of a Night Demon show. They took the time to work with me on getting everything just right. The balance and weight of my sticks are the same no matter what, and the durability is bar none the best I've ever had. I know my sticks will last through the set night after night. I'm truly honored to work with a company that caters to their players the way LDC does. Their innovation and attention to detail is what separates them from the rest of the stick makers out there. Their custom stick sleeves are unbelievable and really make the entire presentation complete. Wait until you see the design they came up with for me. It blew my mind and was a surprise to say the least. They have all kinds of amazing swag, including hoodies, t-shirts, drummer shorts, drum keys, stick bags, towels, face masks, practice pads, and much, much more. Even if you're not a drummer, you can be a part of Demon history and order my brand new signature sticks direct from their website. How cool is that? And to top it off, the London Drumstick Company are giving an exclusive offer to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. Go to londondrumsticks.co.uk and receive a 15% store-wide discount using promo code DEMONSTICKS. All capital letters, no spaces, Demon Sticks. DEMONSTICKS. I can't thank everyone there enough for the opportunity to be a part of their family and for them trusting me with their amazing products. See you metal maniacs on the road very soon. And yes, the wood chips will be flying.
Greetings, boils and ghouls. This is your comrade, the Crypt Keeper here, reporting dead from the sanctuary of the strange. Tonight's macabre myth is a fright-filled feature, one overflowing with monsters, madness, and magic.
Visit our website at monstersmadnessandmagic.com to stay up to date on all the dark dealings within the sanctuary of the strange. Enjoy the show.
Hey Metalheads, I'm Mark and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking Podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
Okay, metalheads, you've been complaining that there has not been a channel that plays all of the heavy metal videos from past, present, and future for years and years at this point. Well, that time is over. Heavy Metal Television is back. HeavyMetalTelevision.net is the website. Go there. You can see videos playing 24/7, 365, all the time, all the best from the old school, the new school, and everything in between. Check it out, HeavyMetalTelevision.net. It is where the metal is.